Good morning, Pio Pico Palomas. Can you believe it? We're in March, just like that. It's almost been a year since the pandemic has started, and we are going strong, and we are continuing to learn and engage and connect with each other. So it's really exciting to see all the work that you guys have been doing. It's a start of a new month. It's kind of refreshing, right? And let's see what we have going on this month. So this week I am all by myself, so you got me, but we will be joined by a student next week, okay? So we have a lot of things to cover. Let's start with birthdays, right? So I want to make sure that we're going back to all the birthdays that I've missed. And December is my favorite month because it's my birthday month. So let's continue to celebrate like we're in December. So happy birthday, Diana from Miss Villaseñor, Leilani, Reina, Saul, Johnny, Kenneth, Jonathan, Mele, Nyla, Alexander, Yurem, Joe, Mia and Jayla and Connie and Guadalupe and Alondra and Maria. Happy birthday, Kimberly and Jefferson and Adrian and Shirlene and Dulce and Kimberly. And Shirlene, Dulce, and Kimberly, you guys have probably one of the best birthdays. 12/12, you got it. You got it, ladies. Let's see. Happy birthday. Happy late birthday to some of our February babies that we forgot about. We haven't mentioned you guys, so you're here, we're doing it again. So happy birthday, John, Giovanni, Destiny, Juan, Jonathan, Esther, Guadalupe, Danny, Isidro, Mr. Ponce, happy birthday to you, Adrian, and Jesus. And this week, we don't have that many birthdays, and they're all kind of towards the end of the week. So let's celebrate because it's your birthday week. Whoop, whoop. Happy birthday, Destiny, Eric, Brianna, Leilani, and Felix. May you all continue to celebrate for the whole year. It's always great. You know, I'm so great. I'm so happy all of you are alive, that you are here with us. It's just exciting. So happy birthday to all of you. So as you know, here at Pio Pico, we want to make sure that our school is a welcoming place. And we know that we can create a welcoming place where everybody can learn if we are respectful, responsible, and safe. And so this week, I'm going to talk to you about how is it that we act and speak in respectful ways, right? Because all of our palomas are doing this, but let's see, how are you doing this, right? So like I said, when we are respectful, it helps everyone feel welcomed and safe. So when we act respectfully, we listen carefully to each other. That means we don't interrupt each other when we're speaking. We take turns, right? Sometimes to show that you're listening to a person, you may say things like, I heard you say, and then you can repeat what they said. And that validates that person. Say, okay, wow, he really did understand me, right? We help each other. And we try to understand what someone else is feeling. That's called empathy, right? When you try to feel what another person is feeling. So those are ways that we can act in respectful ways. But we can also speak, and we should be speaking in respectful ways. And when we speak in respectful ways, we use friendly words, and we say please and thank you, excuse me, right? And we don't call other people names, right? We don't call people inappropriate names. If maybe you think, oh, that person likes it, call them by their name. When you're meeting someone for the first time, it's always polite to say, hi, Dr. Gomez. And then, would you like for me to call you Dr. Gomez? Or is it okay for me to call you Dr. Gomez? And if they say, oh, no, that's okay. You can call me Lupe. That's okay. That's fine. So ask that person, what do you want to be called? Because that's really important, right? My full name is Maria Guadalupe Gomez, but I prefer to be called Lupe, right? So that's fine. That's what I prefer. So make sure that you ask people, is there a name that you would rather for me to call you? And we never call people inappropriate names because they can be very hurtful to someone, and we don't want to hurt anybody. We want to be respectful. So this week, I want you to think about how you can act and speak in respectful ways in your classroom, in your home, and out in the community, right? When people see you being responsible, respectful, and safe, I want them to know that you are a Pio Pico scholar, a resident of the city of Santa Ana, and we are so proud, right, of all the work that you do and the way that you show respect, responsibility, and safety. So let's make sure we continue with that. Remember, at BioPico, our rules are very simple, our expectations, right? Let's be safe, let's be responsible, let's be respectful. So what do we have next? So we are continuing with all of our attributes of what great scholars, what are the characteristics, the traits, the attributes that great scholars have. And so we've talked about they come prepared to school and ready to learn. They got their tools, right? We know that they set short and long-term goals because they know exactly where they want to go and what is it that they need to do to get there. And this week we're going to talk about curious. They have a lot of curiosity. And what does that actually mean, right? So one way that you can show curiosity is by asking questions. So scholars are curious and they ask thoughtful questions, right? That means that you have to think about the question that you're going to ask. You just don't ask questions that just, pop into our heads. We have to think about, I wonder about this, right? And that's kind of the curiosity. The more that we ask questions, the more that we learn. And we want you to love learning and therefore ask lots of questions. Go searching for the answers, right? So let's be curious. Let's ask some questions. Well, why is this important, right? So when you ask questions, your questions reveal your interest. It gives your teachers and people around you an idea of what are the things you kind of like and want to learn more about, right? We ask questions when something that is said, when your teacher is saying something and it catches your attention or something surprises you, like, wait, what did she just say, right? Or when you hear something you want more information about. So that gives us a window into what are your interests, what are the things that you like, right? And so it's really important to ask questions for that reason. It's a way for us to get to know you a little bit better. But also asking questions can clarify thoughts, ideas, misunderstandings. It gives people an opportunity to explain something in a different way so that it makes it clearer for everybody else to understand. Questions can reveal what you don't understand yet, and it gives your teacher a chance to fill in the gaps and improve the understanding not only for you, but for everybody else in your classroom. So take that academic risk, raise your hand, even if it's a virtual hand, right? And say, hey, teacher, what did you mean by this? Or can you explain, or I'm not understanding this. What did you mean by, right? So ask questions to make sure that you understand what she's saying or what your teacher is saying. It not only helps you, but it helps everybody else in that classroom. Another thing that I found very interesting, but totally makes sense, right, is that when you ask questions, it improves your recall and it improves your ability to retain information. So later on, you can keep that information and use it appropriately, right? So basically, what research has shown is that when you ask questions yourself, you are more likely to remember the information you receive because it's linked to the things that you're interested about. So something stopped you, something surprised you, and therefore you asked a question, and so now you are engaging with that piece, and so you are more likely to remember. So the more questions you ask in the classroom, remember, questions that are thoughtful, right? The more thoughtful questions you ask, the more you will be learning and retaining, and that's something that is great. Another thing is that questions build a foundation for new knowledge and increases our knowledge, right? There's some things that are facts and we just kind of need to know. And so it just helps us to have a larger knowledge base. So being curious about the world, asking questions is something that is a great skill to have, but it's also a very difficult skill to develop. So you need practice. You need practice thinking about questions, asking questions, right? And so hopefully in your classroom, you're getting those opportunities to be able to ask questions and how to form questions that are thoughtful. This week, we are asking for you to practice asking questions, thoughtful questions, right? I'm including some question stems, right? So for example, last week we had a presentation by one of our students who was looking at the Gutenberg, what is it? It was the blimp, and they were looking at Titanic, right? And so when they were looking at both of these things, they could have asked the question, right? How does the blimp compare with the Titanic? And then you start looking at similarities between them, right? Or what is the relationship between this and that? Or what would happen if, right? And so this is just a couple of different stems that you can use to ask questions. We want you to be curious. We want you to be thoughtful. We want you to ask lots of questions because, like as I've said earlier, it shows us what you're interested about, but it helps you to retain information. It helps clarify misunderstandings. There's a lot of positive things that happen from questions. You will have an opportunity this week to ask thoughtful questions. We have a lot of people coming to our school next week, virtually, of course, for our Read Across America celebration. And so this year we are celebrating the fact that we are a nation of diverse readers, right? And so on Monday, March 1st, we're going to have our board president, Dr. Rigo Rodriguez, and he makes policy and rules for the way that all schools in Santa Ana should run, right? So he's a person that you may want to think about, what can I ask him? Not just about the story that he reads, but questions about him, right? And so it'll be interesting to see what type of questions you come up for him. Remember, send them to me, send them to Ms. Alexander, and we will make sure that we have your questions ready. You will also have an opportunity to ask live questions, right? So that's on Monday, March 1st at 12:30. On Tuesday, March 2nd, we have our superintendent, Dr. Jerry Almendares. He is our superintendent, so basically he's my boss, right? And so you'll have an opportunity to ask him questions about what is his vision for learning for students, right? How is it that he's engaging students? How does he take your feedback in and turn it into something that you can see that will benefit you in the classroom? So 2 people that may have a lot of power to make decisions in the way that our schools are run. So I'm hoping that you have some really good questions for them that are thoughtful and respectful. On Wednesday, March 3rd, we have an author, Ernesto Cisneros. He's also a teacher in Santa Ana Unified School District. He was a teacher here at Pio Pico, so we're so excited that he wrote a book and he's published it. Maybe you have questions about his book if you've already read his book, which is called Efren Divided, or maybe you just have some questions about the process he went as a writer and how did he get his book published? What was the hardest or the easiest thing for him as a writer? So hoping you have lots of good questions for him. On Thursday, March 4th, we have a very special guest, Captain Gallagher. He is with the Anaheim Fire Department. He's a firefighter captain. Oh my goodness, what questions do you have about being a firefighter, about how did he become a captain, right? How do fires work? What has been the most dangerous situation? What are the most difficult fires to put out? What are his thoughts when he's going into a fire, right? So many good questions, right, that we can ask all the wonderful guests. And then on Friday, March 5th, we have the Director of Classified Personnel for our district, Sandra McCoy, who is also an author and who's also written books for children. And so it's an exciting week for us to practice that skill of questioning. So I'm excited to hear your questions. Remember, you can ask them live after the read aloud. I'll let you know when we're open for questions, but you can also send them ahead of time, and then I will be reading the questions for you if you do send them ahead of time. But please send us your questions. We have a whole week of fun. And also, I want to make sure that you know that every day there's something, it's a dress up day. Monday, Silly Sock Day, Book Character Day, a Fun and Unique Hair Day, a Fun and Unique Cat Day, and then also Pajama Day on Friday, okay? So lots of stuff happening, lots of ways for you to practice your skill of asking questions. And so because we know all of our palomas are exhibiting a lot of these attributes of what scholars are, we want to make sure we honor you for all the work that you're doing. And so starting this week, we are doing something called the Scholars of the Week. And so these scholars are being recognized because they show these attributes on a daily basis, right? They show that they're that they are resourceful, that they take academic risks, that they save information and then use it later, that they're curious about the world and they ask thoughtful questions, that they see things from multiple perspectives, that they set goals right, that they are come to school with their tools ready to learn, and so much more, right? So let's meet our very first Scholars of the Week for 2021. I am so excited because our first Scholar of the Week is one of our youngest learners, and he's a TKer. Congratulations, Jaden Garcia. I am so happy for you. Jaden is attentive in class. He tries to do his best all the time. He's ready. He participates in classroom discussion. Jaden has a growth mindset. He knows that if he works hard, he's going to be a great writer. And right now, he's a TKer, but he's all writing simple words. He's on his way to become such a great writer. And look at his illustration that has so many details. Jaden, I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of your teacher, Ms. Jaramillo. You guys are doing great work. Keep it up, guys. Let's see who our next Scholar of the Week is. Drum roll. It's Megan Heredia from Mrs. Garcia's class. Megan, awesome work. You are responsible. You come to school every day. She's always ready to learn. She contributes to classroom discussion, and she's always willing to help the rest of the class. What amazing scholar you are, Megan. Thank you very much for all the work that you're doing. Congratulations, Megan. Let's see who we have next. Scarlett, of course, from Mrs. Alcaraz's class. Scarlett logs into class with an awesome attitude. Like, isn't that great? You log into the class and you will always see Scarlett with a huge smile, ready to learn. She has all her materials, all her resources. She's ready to learn. Great attitude. Awesome work, Scarlett. And whether it's synchronous work or asynchronous work, it does not matter because Scarlett gets it done all the time. So congratulations, Scarlett. Keep up the great work. And congratulations to all of our teachers, too, who are working with all of our students. You guys are doing amazing work. But a third grader in Miss Jones' class, Emily Nunez, is also being recognized this week for our Scholar of the Week. And Emily is hardworking and she's very responsible. She puts her best effort into her work. She asks questions to clarify information. We are so proud of the work that Emily is doing. Thank you, Emily. Keep up the great work. My goodness gracious. Look at this beautiful hat, Emily. Like it. And then, of course, we have a fourth grader from Mrs. McEwen's classroom, Alexandra Santoyo. Alexandra shows intellectual curiosity. She enjoys learning about different subjects. It doesn't matter what Ms. McEwen throws at her. Alexandra's like, oh my goodness, can I know more? Tell me more, right? And she's not afraid to ask questions, right? And so that's one of the ways that she's able to retain so much information and recall, because she's always asking questions. She's clarifying for information like, wait, Ms. McEwen, I didn't quite understand that. What did you mean with this, right? Can you explain this a little bit more? And Alexandra always takes academic risks. So I am so proud of all of our students this week for being named Scholar of the Week. We will be calling your parents soon because we will either deliver a prize to your home or we will ask you to come to the school and pick it up. But it's a fun goodie bag of stuff to celebrate all the awesomeness that you are. So congratulations, scholars. And let's see, what do we have? I believe that's the end of our messages. I just have reminders for you now is remember, we're still doing registration. We're a Spanish dual language school. TK and kindergarten registration for the next school year is now open. Please make sure you call the school, leave a message if we don't answer, or email Rocio for information about registration. We want to make sure that we make it as easy as possible. At this time, we have about 100 parents who have completed the parent survey. The district has given us an extension until March 7th. So there's a new deadline. So please make sure you tell your parents to complete the survey. Remember, it's one per adult that interacts with our school. So if grandma interacts with their school, grandma can do the survey. If mom interacts with the school, mom can do the survey. If dad interacts with the school, dad can also do the survey. So it's not one per family, it's one per adult that has interaction with our school. So please make sure that you complete it. Our goal is to get 350 parent responses, because if we're able to get 350 responses, we will have a virtual dance party. If we get 400 parent responses by March 7th, we will get you a party goodie bag so that you can enjoy during our virtual dance party. So let's make it happen. I want to dance. I got my dancing shoes ready. Come on, guys. And I want to remind you that starting this week It's Turn It Up Tuesday on March 2nd from 2 to 2:30. And then we have Friendship Friday. Bring a friend. You get to choose what breakout group you go to. You get to talk to your friends. Maybe we'll be playing music and stuff. We had it last Friday, and it was awesome. I got to learn a lot about Roblox. So thank you to my friends that were giving me that information. But bring your friend. Let's have a conversation. Let's just talk. And then work out with me on Tuesdays. So let's get the party started. So just as a reminder to finish up the message this week is TK and Kinder registration is going on. Parents, please take time to complete the survey. Read Across America is being celebrated this whole week. Today is Silly Sock Day, so put those socks on. Parent-teacher conferences is also this week. Parents, please make sure that you know what time your conferences are. You have the link for your teacher's conference, and then show up to conference on time so that the teachers can move on to the next. The time is short. Teachers have a lot of parents to meet with, so we want to make sure that if you're on time, that they can make sure they can give you the full time and attention during your conference. Like I said, Turn It Up Tuesday and Friendship Friday. So thank you very much. I don't want to take much of your time, any more of your time. Have a great week, and I will see you all virtually. Join me at 12:30. Our first reader is Dr. Rigo. Make sure you have questions for him. I'll see you soon. Adios.